What's going on YouTube? Cloverbells here, back with another Scarlet Violet video, and today we're going to be doing another team building session around Palafin and Chien Pao. And before we even get started, we are also joined by another special guest on the channel. In case you didn't pay attention to Twitter or even in my Discord, we finally have the Cloverbells mascot on the channel here. We got Celesteela. At long last, it has come home to its rightful place. So, say hello. Oh wait, it can't actually move its arms. That's fine. That's okay. You go in the corner. You're good. All right, now we can get back to the video. I wanted to do this with its arms, but it wasn't able to do that. It's hooked onto its body. All right, so this was a request by a viewer with a tier 3 sub to the channel. They wanted to team build around Palafin and Chien Pao. They said, I just need something that's solid and consistent. Nothing too fancy or flashy, you know, just something to get the ball rolling so that way when the format starts, I can have a team to use and play with that will, you know, at least cover most of my bases and just be overall relatively balanced. All right. So I said, okay, sure, we'll just create the most super standard team that you'll see. All right, at least in the very beginning, and that has already been proven in some of the online tournaments, albeit they are smaller tournaments, of course, because everyone's still focused on the upcoming regionals in Charlotte. Because that's still Series 2, aka Regulation B. But in the meantime, so for Palafin and Chien Pao, again, the whole idea with this combination is kind of like Dragonite Chien Pao, where you're just capitalizing off of Sword of Ruin, right? Because now you have a priority move, Jet Punch, that's going to hit super hard, harder than normal just because of this Sword of Ruin boost, right? So then from there, why don't you just go ahead and add a defensive backbone here. So we're going to move the Palafin here. I already have a water type, so let's go ahead and add a fire type in the Arcanine. Let's go ahead and add a grass type in the Amoongus. And now we have this defensive backbone that is always, you know, solid and consistent. It is the pride and truth of, you know, competitive Pokemon, at least within Scarlet and Violet thus far. The Arcanine Amoongus, you're going to get Intimidate support, you're going to get Redirection support, for both of these Pokemon, right? And anytime you can have damage mitigation like the Arcanine, you know, with Snarl Pressure along with Intimidate, things won't be able to pick up KOs anymore, and you're able to stay on the field and still deal damage, you know, because, you know, you have the bulk, okay, thanks to also these Pokemon. But with the redirection support with the Rage Powder, same idea, you know, protect your Palafin, protect your Chien Pao, just redirect everything, and then just keep clicking the buttons, right? That just does big damage. So then where do you go from here? All right, so now you have to understand, okay, with Palafin, I'm going to be switching it first. I need to get it back in position. So it would help if there was another pivoter on the team that can help you do that, because if you can hard switch Palafin in a particular turn and then use something with a pivot move to bring back the Palafin in the next turn, ready to go, that would be very good. We have that option here. It's going to be the Iron Hands. And I really like Iron Hands for this reason, because it has Volt Switch. You're able to get some chip damage. You're able to bring back the Palafin. And when that happens, you're able to activate 0 to Hero. And now you have, you're in position again, okay? And with Chien Pao and also Palafin and also Arcanine and Iron Hands, now you have a lot of options for, you know, capitalizing off of the Sword of Ruin boost, okay? Quotation marks on that word, because, you know, you're also subjected to that as well. But you're going to be dealing even more damage with the Iron Hands and even more damage with the Arcanine, because now what you can even do is just go for like harder hitting Flare Blitzes and then even extreme speed and go Adamant Nature, and now you can really take advantage of the Chien Pao. Here you just go straight up Protect, right? And then in the last slide you have some options, and I asked the viewer what you would prefer, and both can work. You could do like a Flutter Mane here as like another special attacker, or you can simply just go with the Dragonite stuff. And then again, you're just going with the pride and true of the Chien Pao Dragonite combination. And I'm gonna give both Pokepastes just because, you know, I like, you know, helping you guys out. But the viewer in the end requested the Dragonite, but I still feel like the Flutter Mane stuff is still relatively fine. It gives you different options that the Dragonite can't give you. But I digress. We'll build both anyway, and I'll give both Pokepastes. But so now what we're going to do is we're going to finish off this squad in terms of, you know, standard moves, standard items, and then we'll get to the EVs, all right? So let's take a look. All right, so before we do our movesets and EVs and items on the team, I'm just going to go ahead and reveal the GIFs. So Amoongus Arcanine is your defensive backbone. Iron Hands for another good pivot option, good synergy with the Palafin, and then finally the Dragonite in this last slot over here. Let me just move it over because I had the Flutter Mane over there. Okay. And now we'll get into the Chien Pao. Okay, so very standard Focus Sash set, of course, with Ice Spinner. Really, really good in terms of your own stat move. Great at removing terrain from Indeedee. So this way your priority moves are able to do something. Okay, just like Palafin Jet Punches, Extreme Speeds, Fake Outs, all that kind of stuff. You're able to do that if you can remove the Psychic Terrain. And at least if you can get it back in position the next turn. And then at the same time, you have a nice good stat move that is also great into other Dragonites, other Amoonguses, okay, and other things that want to go Terra Flying. It's a really good option. But then from here, where do you want to go? I think Sucker Punch and Throat Chop here, your two dark moves along with Protect is fine. Again, with Sucker Punch being a priority move, Throat Chop, you know, really good against Perish Song stuff because you can deny it. It's a sound move. And then in terms of like a Terra type, I do like Ghost here. I've always liked Ghost just because you can stop opposing Fake Outs going into your Chien Pao. You get to keep your Sash, and you're able to counter the fighting type attacks that might go into your own Chien Pao because Dark and Ice, you're 4 times weak to fighting. But if you have a Ghost Terra typing, then you just don't take any damage, right? If you were able to switch to it. So that's the Chien Pao set. Palafin, it's going to be, again, Mr. Whatchamacallit, Wave Crash, Haze for the Dondozo stuff, and Protect. Haze, not just Dondozo, remove Swords Dance, remove Nasty Plots, remove Dragon Dances. It's very, very helpful, okay, for that regard. And then over here, at the time when I was testing, you know, I understand the value of Mystic Ward, of course, the high boost, but then I was also like just trying out Life Orb, just a little bit more damage. Yes, I understand I'm taking a little bit more chip, but the fact that I saw this calc, but the fact that you can pick up a KO with Jet Punch, Life Orb against a non-bulk Flutter Mane, 100% OHKO, is actually pretty cool because now with Mystic Water, that's not an OHKO anymore. That's a roll. So I figured, you know, that's important. If I can just one-shot a Flutter Mane that's not sashed with no bulk, if it's just like those standard 252 choice spec sets running around, I did like that. So I did use the Life Orb, and I wasn't really feeling any bit of loss, Life Orb versus Mystic Water. If anything, I enjoyed the damage a little bit more. So if you like Life Orb, definitely consider it. I think there's some merit to it. Other than that, if you want to just go straight up standard Mystic Water stuff, you're free to do that. But when I was testing it and when I show you some test battles, I was using the Life Orb at the time. All right, Arcanine here, Safety Goggles, and we already went through the sets. I just like Terra Water, of course, because I can get around the Hydro Pumps, or even like other Palafin moves that want to click stuff, even Azumarill stuff that is now running around. I want to be able to resist it. And then the Safety Goggles just helps me get around the Amoongus stuff, right? Of course. The Arcanine itself is going to be an offensive one, of course, because we have Flare Blitz and Extreme Speed. So I want to start really taking advantage of the Chien Pao buff. All right. The Amoongus is going to be Regenerator, of course. Nothing else needs to be said here. Citrus Berry is really nice on it. And then from here, Spore, Pollen Puff, and then Protect, right? You don't need to run Clear Smog anymore because you have the Haze on the Palafin. The Iron Hands, I do like the Assault Vest here. And then in terms of movesets, Fake Out, Volts, we already have Volt Switch, Wild Charge, Drain Punch. Now you can opt for like a Swords Dance set here with Protect. That's totally fine. But in this type of set, I went with an Assault Vest just because I enjoyed the bulk a little bit more. Dragonite here is going to be the Inner Focus set here. If you like multi-scale, definitely go for multi-scale. I think they're both very good. It just depends on you and how you want to play it. But I don't want to get faked. Well, not that Fake Out really matters on Dragonite here, but I don't want to get Intimidate spammed. I think it's very bad if I do. So I like Inner Focus. And then just the power of the Lumberry along with like Protect is actually really good. You are able to use this, what I call get out of jail free card for at least one turn, where if Arcanines are clicking Will-O-Wisps, you know, other Chiyus are clicking Will-O-Wisps, you have the option to at least, well, first of all, they have to did, right? But if they do, then you get this, you know, get out of jail free card, and they just waste a turn, and you probably can just KO them right back in the following turn, and then you don't have to worry about it. So Lumberry's been clutch. And now in terms of a set, I do like Extreme Speed. Of course, that's the #1 move you want. Terra Blast with Terra Flying. You know, just really, really good, solid, consistent damage. And then over here, I like Stomping Tantrum. I've seen Low Kick. I've seen Fire Punch. I've seen Outrage. I've seen Dragon Claw. Iron Head even. There's lots of options that you can run on your Dragonite over here. All right, and then it just really all depends up to you. But I like Stomping Tantrum just for the fact that I understand that there's going to be like, you know, Terra Poison Chiyus and Terra Poison Wo-Chiens, and I need the ground coverage to be able to hit them, okay, when they do decide to go with their Terra options, right? So if they don't, then I have the fighting coverage anyway with the Iron Hands with the Drain Punch stuff. So there's always that. But if they do go Terra Poison, I really need something for it, and this is the only real consistent damage that I'm going to get off of it. So thank God for Stomping Tantrum Dragonite, as I like to say. But this is it. In terms of the Iron Hands Terra type, I do like Grass here. Again, does a couple things. One, you get around the Amoongus stuff, and two, you're able to reduce damage from the ground type attacks from, like, let's say a Great Tusk. So there's always benefit in that. The Amoongus, again, I also like Terra Water because Arcanine Flare Blitzes are not fun, and then any kind of flying attack now becomes neutral damage. So, you know, you get a couple of best of both worlds there. And then overall, I believe that's it. So this is the 6 that we're going to be using as far as like something that's standard and consistent. But just so that you see it, and I'll also put it when the time comes, I'm just going to also put the Flutter Mane over here. And then, you know, when we get to it, I'll be able to also show you a set there. But for now, let's just go ahead and build this team in terms of the EVs. All right, starting with Chien Pao, easiest one of the night, honestly. Just do this. Right, Jolly Spread 252. It is a, you know, focus asset, so might as well. The Palafin here, honestly, just because you're clicking your priority moves all the time, and you really just don't need that much speed here, if any at all. Okay, and I'll show you just a very general spread here. You'll just go to the first bench, not the first, the third EV bump here with 236 investment. Again, the first bump being here at 76 right here. So you see how you go from 207 to 209. This is what we call the first EV benchmark, where your stat increases by 2 instead of 1. Then you see the bump every 80 EVs. So after that, it's 156 investment, where you go from 218 to 220. You don't skip, you do skip 219, so there's the benefit there. Then another 80 EVs, 236. And you see how you go from 229 to 231, right? There's the other benchmark there. Then you just max the HP. All right, 1 point in defense, 1 point in special defense, and then the rest just goes into speed. And that's really all you need your Palafin to do. Just click Jet Punch, all right, and call it a day. And the occasional wave crashes or hazes, if you do need some big damage to come out and pick up an important KO, then yeah, definitely do it. But in terms of like a bulky set that can just do big damage, this is it, all right? The Arcanine here, this is where you can start to do some calcs. But first, I am going to go Adamant 76, where this is the first benchmark in the attack. And this is really good against like bulky Goldengos, or non-bulky Goldengos, I should say. You're able to just pick up a KO with Flare Blitzes. And now, if you have Chien Pao, now you can also start picking up more of those KOs against the bulkier Goldengos if they are bulky. But I also want to be bulky myself, so I'm just going to max out my HP like this and be totally fine with that. 197 is all we need. And then what I can do is either go for a speedy Arcanine, where I just have this, okay, and just go 172 investment. And you might see this on Pikalytics a lot, and you might see, why is Arcanine 172 speed investment? What does that do? This is going to outspeed the modest Goldengos, okay, to be able to pick up those KOs. And that's how it works. But if you don't care for that speed, if you just want your Arcanine to be bulky, then the defensive calc that I do advise is at least the Great Tusk after Intimidate. So if I can just show you that right here. Right, here's the Arcanine. I'm just going to go with a blank set here. I'm going to go with 252 HP, right, just so you can see it. Then I'm just going to put in the Great Tusk and just go blank set here. You know, this is totally fine. Just put it at level 50. And then you're just going to put it at, you know, level, whatchamacallit, 252 investment. And then put the Headlong Rush, okay? And if you do that, you see that the Arcanine actually just gets demolished, right? But that's okay, because now you intimidate it, so you make this -1 here, and honestly, now you just live, okay? But the problem is, what happens if the Great Tusk is an Adamant nature rather than a Jolly nature, okay? So now the Headlong Rush has a 56% chance to KO. How do I make it so that I don't get KO'd? Well, now you just have to start clicking this defense button. If you look back in the team, you have 168 EVs left to play with. You don't need all those EVs, but let's just see how much of the 168 you're gonna need. So now we just keep pressing the up button until we get this calc that we need. See, we're almost there. We're at 12.5% now. And this is it. You just need 84 defense to survive the Adamant Great Tusk Headlong Rush, right? And this is your main defensive calc. Then from here, you just put the rest into speed like this, just to be a little bit more speedier than some of the other Arcanines, or even like outspeed some of the other Palafins for that matter. But that's it. That's your main defensive calc on this Arcanine. We have another one where we're careful natured and we're able to survive the Hydro Pump from the Iron Bundle, as well as the Earthquake from the Great Tusk. If you want that spread, we've done some previous teams where we did do that, but this is just one with the Great Tusk, and this is just one where we have a little bit more speed than normal. Amoongus, same kind of spread that I've always done. You go to 219 to optimize the Regenerator recovery, a perfect 73. Then you just go Relax Nature, and you just, be overall relatively bunky. Just go into the second benchmark here with 156 investment, and then just dump the rest into Spadef. And of course, you want 0 IVs in speed for the Relax Nature boost. Iron Hands, the main calc that you want here is to survive the Flutter Mane Moonblast with choice specs, okay? So that being said, yes, we are going to go Adamant, but we're still going to be relatively bulky, okay? And I still start out with 239 HP, just like this. The main thing is I'm optimizing for like sand chip damage from Tyrannotars that are still running around. This will do that. This will make it 14.9, which rounds down to 14. And then from here, how much special defense am I going to need with this Assault Vest? So now you go to the Iron Hands on Pokemon Damage Calc, and you put in a blank set here, and you put in 76 HP, and then you put on the Assault Vest here like this. All right, by the way, again, you got to know how to use this website if you're trying to play competitive Pokemon. Otherwise, you're never going to find out your damage calcs. Then you go into Flutter Mane, put it in, and you have a timid set. Okay, this is, let's do choice specs. All right, and we're going to put in Moonblast, and you're going to see we're going to get absolutely demolished, but not that much. Okay, 75% chance. How much will I need for a timid Flutter Mane to be able to survive in terms of special defense investment? So let's take a look at this. We're going to start pressing this up button here, and eventually we will lose this. Yeah, see, look at this. Timid Flutter Mane is kind of weak. So 100 investment is all you're going to need, but when you do that, watch what happens. You're at 101, which is an odd number, so what you want to do is go to an even number like this with 108. So now you're at 102. Which is good because when you do your 1.5 multiply boost with the Assault Vest, you're able to at least get a whole number. Whereas if this was an odd number times 1.5, it'll be a decimal. And in this game, it rounds down. Okay, you don't want to round down your defenses. You want to be whole as your defenses. Okay, but then you go back here. What about modest? Okay, because a lot of these Flutter Manes sometimes might be modest. So now you're at 43% chance. So now let's keep pressing this button until we can get that perfect KO. Oops, I skipped. Oh no, this is it right here, 176. And if you go on Peakalytics, you'll see this spread a lot. 172 actually, not 176. But you'll see this spread a lot just because this is for that damage calc. Modest Flutter Mane choice specs. Okay, and then from here, what do you want to do? You can just do straight 156 investment. You're going to be relatively bulky. Then you just go 68 defense, and this is also calced for surviving against Great Tusk Headlong Rush, which is important after Intimidate support even. And then just put a little bit more into speed, where you can win potential speed ties and outspeed other Iron Hands, other King Gambits, other Azumarill. You're all level 50. You're all base 50 speed tier, so you got to do something against it. And this is where you start getting into that speed creep war where you're trying to outspeed an opposing Iron Hands. All right. So there's that. But if you don't care for your defenses, then you can just do this, where you're just dropping the speed just a little bit and putting more into these attack stat like this. And now you're at 209, which is again the EV benchmark. So if this is what you want to do, then definitely settle for that. Otherwise, I'm just going to opt to be a little bit more bulky and just do this, right? Where I have 75. Okay, yeah, I got the damage calc. Dragonite here. So also with this, I'm going to go Adamant Nature. I'm going to go to 191 HP stat. Just to optimize against the Tyranitar Sand Chip damage. It'll round it down from 11.9 to 11 ticks of Sand Chip per turn. If I break the threshold like this, now I'm going to be taking 12 damage. I don't want to be taking 12 damage to Sand Chip. That's annoying. All right. in terms of the Dragonite spread here, I can go to 204. This is again the benchmark here. This will get you to 198 in terms of the attack stat. And then you can just start investing into your speed and bulk. You could just simply do this 4 and then 100 speed, but I feel like this is too much. I feel like you can just put more into your attack stat like this, or just rely on your bulk and keep it here, but then make it more bulky and put more into HP. And now you have a little bit more bulk in terms of your 44 EVs left. So you can just do this, right, and invest at 106, okay? And this will more than happily outspeed, you know, the the Iron Bundle speed creepers that want to just go for 104 and that kind of thing after Tailwind support. So that's it there. All right, in terms of the Dragonite set. But again, if you want a little bit more attack, then you can just do this. All right, and then you just put this right here at 107 speed, which is good because then you outspeed Dragon Ball after Tailwind, but you don't have Tailwind anyway, so it doesn't really matter. All right, so this is the Dragonite set in terms of what you want out of it. And I feel like we did them all, so this is nice. And when I upload this to the Pokepastes, this is the Dragonite version. But if you wanted a Flutter Mane in this slot instead, then what you can do is this. You put Flutter Mane, right, and then you just put Shadow Ball, Moonblast. Then you go with the Perish and then Protect. Perish is really good even if you don't need it. It just gives you another out for like certain matchups. You can also force repositioning, force switches because you know, they die if they don't switch, right? So you can always do that if you want, but it's just a repositioning tool that you need, or just a certified endgame cleaner if they're down to 2 Pokemon and you still have like 3 or 4 options. Booster Energy is the way to go. I like making this kind of Flutter Mane modest, and I like making it bulky. So I still just go to 175 speed here just to outspeed Adamant 252 Dondozo. Then I just go right here to the benchmark here at 136 investment. This 176 is not bad. You might say it's not too great, but that's because you're getting a modest nature boost. So +1 from the booster energy is what I meant. And now this 176 is actually not too bad, right? And notice how this speed undercuts the 176 value. So this way I ensure I get a +1 special attack boost. But once again, I'm still going to optimize for 159 over here, just again for the T-Tar Sand Chip. Then 4 in defense, special defense, I should say, and then the rest just goes into defensive bulk. And if you combine this with Arcanine, you know, Intimidate support, it's actually really nice. The Flutter Mane actually is not too bad in terms of its bulk. So now let me show you this Pokepaste, and again, it's pretty much the same idea in terms of how the team is supposed to play, but at least now you get another special attacker on the team in the Flutter Mane. But as far as like some of those practice showdown games that I'm going to show you, I believe Dragonite was the call in there, and we were using Life Orb Palafin. All right, so hopefully I can make you guys a couple believers out of it, but if not, then, you know, here's the pace. And now if you care for some of those practice games, here we go. Okay, so this is a Chiyu Flutter Mane team with a couple of interesting options, mainly the Grimmsnarl and the Breloom. So I figured, like, yeah, I mean, Chien Pao can do something here, but ultimately I feel like Palafin also just smashes a lot of this team, right? Because not too many of these things can take a Jet Punch. Like, Palafin can't take it, Chiyu can't take it, Flutter Mane can't take it. So as long as I can get 0 to hero, all these Pokemon just drop. And in Breloom, you have plenty of other options against that. I don't know what that thing is supposed to do. I have an Arcanine, and I'm going to be using it. So Iron Hands, Arcanine, Palafin are definitely going to be the play. And then in the back, I can just have stuff like either Dragonite or, you know, Chien Pao, right? So I'm going to lead the combination of the, you know, the Iron Hands and the Palafin. I'm going to go for the combo right here, right now. And I look at this lead and I see like, okay, he's already faster, right? So for what reason is he supposed to really click Tailwind for? Nothing. So I feel like he just wants to double up this Iron Hands here and then also catch me by surprise, because if he is Covert Cloak and if I click Fake Out, it's not going to work, first of all. And then he's going to be able to go for like Brave Bird into like my Iron Hands and then just chip me with the Moonblast, Flutter Mane, and I'm not going to survive that, right? So to counter that, because I know that's exactly what he's going to do, I'm going to go into my Arcanine here, okay? And I'm going to Intimidate, so this way the Talonflame Brave Bird, again, doesn't do that much. And I'm going to pray that I live the Moonblast, and again, I'm taking a risk here. And I don't even know this calc, but I'm taking a risk. But there's the Moonblast, and we actually live, so thank God. Okay, and now I can get the Volt Switch out. I chip the Flutter Mane, and now I go back into Palafin. So this is what I'm talking about, right? the combo works. You got your Palafin back in position, and now you could just punch both of these and they just drop, right? And Arcanine kind of just chills here. So honestly, I go with Terra Water here. So he goes Protect, and that's fine. I'm afraid of the Palafin now clicking Will-O-Wisp, which is not so great, but still fine. I click Extreme Speed, does good damage. All right, and he protects the Flutter Mane. That's fine. But he goes for Tail anyway, which is surprising because he was faster anyway. So the Flutter Mane drops, and you can see the Life Orb chip. And now I just switch out the Arcanine for Dragonite because it's not really doing anything. So I figured now's the time to just go into Dragonite. And he taunts my Arcanine. I don't know why he was doing that or what he think I was going for. But Iron Hands comes in. I switch out the Dragonite. Here comes the Arcanine. I punch the Iron Hands. Look how much damage that does, right? Life Orb Iron Hands. Life Orb Palafin against Iron Hands did 50%. Like, look at that. That is insane. All right, almost 50. And then I just intimidated both of them by pivoting in the Arcanine, which is really good. So now he clicks Spore, of course, because the Arcanine has safety goggles. It doesn't work. He Terra Hands the Iron into Flying type, which I have no idea why he did. He was going into the I actually went into the Arcanine in this game. And this one has the Bulldoze tech on the Breloom. Why he has that and he already has Tailwind, I don't know. All right, but we can just swap out. He goes into Talonflame. That's fine. I'm going to go back into Dragonite. I'm going to punch the Talonflame. He's going to spore something, and he's going to spore the Palafin, right? I know he was going to do that because he can't spore the Arcanine slot because they already had goggles. That's why I switched into Dragonite to safely do that. And now here's the Iron Hands. Can't fake me out. I have Inner Focus, but he doesn't know that. All right, so I'm going to Intimidate the Iron Hands. Play it safe here. Second time Breloom gets intimidated. There's the Fake Out. My Palafin stays asleep. He goes for another Bulldoze. Why he's doing that, I don't know. I have priority moves. I don't think he understands how it works. I do wake up, so I just protect just in case he was going to double up. I do a little bit more chip damage. The Arcanine lives because we have the best EV spreads on this channel. All right, and Breloom at -2 just doesn't do any damage. But to ensure I get this Iron Hands kill, because it was kind of close the first time, I just made Extreme Speed plus Wave Punch, whatchamacallit, the Jet Punch, just to remove the Iron Hands. And now he just literally has nothing. Because we just took out all his good options. All right, so that's how you play this team. As far as like the Palafin combination, you can even have the Chien Pao in the back, but I just felt like the Iron Hands Arcanine combination just worked really well. All right, let's look at one more. Okay, so this is another one of those weirder ones where he has Gothitelle, Wo-Chien stuff, so he's probably thinking, oh, I want to trap things, I want to click Leech Seed. You know, that's one way to go about it. He does have Chiyu and Sylveon / Goldango. I guess he wants to just, like, you know, click stuff and then let Goldango and Sylveon click their spread move. Same thing with Gothitelle. You trap them in, they can't switch out. So there's that regard, but honestly, this is just an interesting play where I can just go with Chien Pao and Iron Hands, and then he can go with Goldango and the Chiyu. Okay, so that's fine. So he's doing with this combination, reducing special defenses, so now they're going to hit even harder. I have a Sass on Chien Pao, so I'm not all that worried. I do have Fake Out potential onto the Chiyu, which is okay. You know, it's just going to take it. And he actually goes into Wo-Chien, so this is not going to work anyway. He protects that slot, very interestingly. I wanted to pin the Chiyu by just going for Sucker Punch. But look how much Drain Punch did, right? It does so much damage. Here comes Dragonite. There's another Poison. We go with the Ice Burn. It doesn't kill, and I was very sad about that because now he just seeded my Chien Pao. My Sash is broken, and at least I get a little bit chip on the Dragonite. But was unfortunate, but that's okay. We still play the game. I'm going to go into Arcanine. I'm going to Intimidate and see if this is multi-scale, but it is not. It is actually just... actually, it is, but it is not Inner Focus. And I can see the Intimidate drop, so that's good news for me. He goes into his Goldango, which is fine. I'm going for Volt Switch again. I'm going to reposition. Let's go into my Dragonite and start dealing some damage. All right, he goes into his Dragonite, which is fine. He goes for Protect on the Goldango. I went for Flare Blitz. Good play there, and he actually reads this right because I clicked Stomping Tantrum instead of some other move. But I know he can't protect the Goldango like that because even if he switches, it's still taking Stomping Tantrum. So the Goldango just drops. The other Dragon is still alive. That's fine. Goes for Outrage. We lived that. Thankfully, I wasn't calculating for Outrage Dragonite. I would have died if it was into my own. But God had other plans. So now here's the Chiyu. I'm going to protect my Dragonite at least one turn. I don't want to die immediately. And the Chiyu says, no, you're going down now. Alright, so be it. So here's the Chien Pao. We're dropping defenses. Here's the combo that we all know and love. And we're going to go into Terra Flying here. We're going to end this now. He goes Extreme Speed, that's fine. Ice Spinner removes the Dragonite, which is what I wanted. And Heat Wave removes my Chien Pao, but that's okay. We get some good chip damage onto their Chi-Yu. And then from here, we just go into our own Iron Hands back again. Here's the Wo-Chien. That's totally fine. I'm going to Fake Out on the Chi-Yu. All right. You Stomping Tantrum, the Terra Poison, Wo-Chien. That's good. That's why we have that tech. Dragonite goes down, but that's okay. We Drain Punch the fish. We eat the fish revitalizes us, and we're all hunky-dory, right? So that's how you play this kind of squad. If you wanted to do a little bit more variance with the Dragonite Chien Pao, this would be an interesting battle. But you saw how it works. You have the Palafin Iron Hands mode. You got the Wo-Chien Palafin, Wo-Chien Dragonite combination. You got, you know, even Arcanine plus one of the other sweepers, like a Wo-Chien or like a Tinglu, and then you should be fine either way. But that's the team. So now, once again, back to the Pokepaste section of the video, where I'm going to show both squads. Alright, so this one is the Dragonite Lum version, for, again, just a little bit more extra physical damage, as if we didn't have it already with the Palafin and the Arcanine and the Iron Hands. It helps to have a little bit more, especially when you have the Lumber and the Dragonite. You can just pivot in, either on your Iron Hands or Chien Pao, take that burn damage, but also, again, because you have a Lumber, you gotta get out of jail for free card. So there's that. Then you have the Arcanine. Oops. Then you have the Arcanine Amoongus stuff. So that's also relatively solid. And then I'm just gonna show you the Flutter Mane stuff right over here. And again, it's just a relatively solid core. So if this is something you're interested in, then definitely give it a call. Definitely consider Discord with the tier 3 option. Just message me there, and then you're just able to you know, book a session with me. We show you how to do all these EVs, these items, and these movesets, and then we take it from there. All right. So if you're interested in coaching, check out the channel, video description, comment section, or click the join button, where we can again just take you to that link, and again just register a session with me. All right. So peace out. Have a good night, and that's it for now.